Welcome to Rational Business, though I suppose we should really be calling this Rational Salon. I'm joined at the table today by Desirae Blackburde, who started her own salon down on Federal Boulevard in Denver. And because we're talking about new businesses and some of the roadblocks that they run into, I thought it'd be perfect to have Desirae come up to the studio and talk about how she opened a salon from scratch. Never done this before in her life. Though she is an entrepreneur, got to be honest there, but this is the first time that she's ever started a bricks and mortar type business. Desirae, welcome to the table.
Thank you, Nigel. Thank you, everyone, for having me.
It's so good for you to come up to Longmont and talk about this. You started your own business. Why did you start a hairdressing salon?
Well, it's my passion. So hair has always been my passion. And I always wanted to own something and grow, inspire people. I always had these big vision and dreams of just, like seeing my name international or seeing my logos international and, like the Starbucks. And I was like, I recognize that brand. I know who she is. I know what she's doing and what she's about. So always had big dreams.
So you've got massive dreams. They're not big, they're massive. Did you decide salon, or were there other choices that you went through first?
No, it was definitely always salon.
You always wanted to do this?
Yes.
Why?
I was good at it.
Well, that's an important point.
Yeah, I was really good at it. And definitely because, in the industry, there was never a salon I really loved working at. There was a lot of owners that owned the business but never did hair, so they didn't understand what it took to be a stylist, So there was a lot of, not that understanding. Like, how do you do a haircut in 13 minutes? And it took me years to figure out you're not supposed to do a haircut in 13 minutes if it's good, right? Or maybe there's, they tell you got to do it this way, that way. And I'm like, the artist is going like this, And if you get the same results in the end, or you even end up with better results because you're just in your art, then that's when the creativity comes in.
Really comes in.
So I didn't see a lot of ownership that understood what it took to be an artist. There's also the cattiness of the salon environment and things like that. So, I was always a messy stylist, and everybody was more focused on how does my foils look, or how does this, and we're clean. And I'm like, I'm in my art, you guys. I'll clean this up later. Like, we're doing this and we're creating this masterpiece. How can I focus on all these other little things? So just being in a place where other artists can feel comfortable and in their art and creating that home environment, like, hey, we all have bad days. We need to take care of each other, not worry about what another person's not doing. I worked in salons where I was taking on the clients because other people didn't want to do this type of hair color, or they didn't want to do this client or facial, and they were just folding towels, but they would bitch about, excuse me, can I say the B word?
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah, okay, bitch about cleaning the shampoo bowl. And you're like, for heaven's sake, I just took your client, clean the bowl, or get somebody some food. So I really wanted to create a community and an environment where people understood that we are a unit, that we move together, we work together. If I ask you to help me pin a piece of hair because I'm not feeling that vibe, that we come in and we help each other grow.
Right.
It takes a team of like-minded individuals to build something massive, like I dream of building, and not disconnecting. And we're not robots; we're humans that have bad days.
It's funny because I had never considered your line of work to be art, and I'm an idiot because I should have done. Think about it. You never talk of hairdressing art. It's always hairdressing style or hairdressing something, but it's never art. But you're 100% correct. It is pure art in the preparation, in the design, and in the execution. And it's almost exactly the same as, say, doing an oil painting.
It is.
almost identical. You've got to first, that's my vision, these are my tools, and there's my canvas. And of course, in your case, the canvas just happens to be a human head.
Yes.
That really is the only difference.
And then if you mess up, you turn it into a bird,
Right.
Something like that.
And of course, the other thing that's ultra important is, at the end of the process, your customer has to get up, has to look in the mirror and go, oh yeah, that works. And that must be the best satisfaction ever.
It's definitely the smiles at the end, to see the end result, to see people's lives change. You think it's cosmetically transforming, but really it's the time that you spend with them, the talking to them, to making them feel better, the conversations, or even just being real, raw and real with my own problems or what I'm going through. Some people say, hey, you shouldn't do this, let them talk. But I think sometimes they get therapy and knowing like, hey, I dealt with a lot of shit,
Yeah.
and they're like, wow, my life isn't so bad. And then they go home feeling better about their bed and their cozy.
Yeah. I mean, it almost puts you along the same lines as a good barkeeper. There you go. You need a wet bar.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so you have now got the business up and running. What are some of the roadblocks that you actually ran into, because it's not an easy process?
So definitely just finding the stylist that, to be in the business. I am not in a hurry or a rush to get people in there, just because it's got to be the right people. I'm taking over 3 chairs on my own at some time. So like on Friday night, I had 3 colors going and at the same time. And now that I have all this newfound energy, I'm like, boom. And I used to say I can't double book, but it was a party. We were like hair.
And I'm betting it wasn't 3 for the price of 1.
Essentially, I don't want to be behind the chair as much. I want to teach people how to grow themselves and grow them behind the chair, because I have bigger things we want to do. So I need to hire my replacement. I'm looking for that my next, my face, who's going to represent me, who I can educate and train and be my replacement.
Your replacement. Yeah.
And so on and so forth, so we can open the 2nd location and branch off, and then the 3rd. So just hungry people that want to grow in the industry, who are tired of the old ways, like let's find creative and innovative ways. I don't have a rhyme or a reason. I just say, let's go have fun with it. Let's be our authentic, true selves. Why does it have to be so black and white?
Absolutely.
Let's add color.
It must be difficult, because every business basically is having the same problem, finding the right people. How about yourself? You've been open now for what, 4 weeks?
Yes.
Memory serves me well. So about 4 weeks. And I remember at the ribbon cutting ceremony, you said, and if there are any stylists out there, me. How's that going? Are you finding people?
So I did find one booth renter who came in at the beginning of the month.
Sorry to interrupt. What do you mean by booth renter?
So someone who comes in and basically they run their own business from the chair. The booth renters are basically their own individual selves. They take on that leadership role to build their clientele. They're their own business. They're their own.
Right. So what they basically do is rent the space from you.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know that.
So they rent the space, and they should be in the business, building their clientele, and as well as my brand or my company can build their clientele as well, so they can get customers off of just being there.
Right.
And so I had a booth renter come in, and I was like, she's only been here a couple days. She's paid for the space. I even gave her a really good deal, like a sweet deal, so it didn't.
Yeah.
I asked her, what do you feel comfortable? Because I don't want you to feel uncomfortable and then stress yourself out. And I also was like, I didn't want to make her sign contracts, because a lot of people sign contracts or make people do, and I don't want to force anybody to do anything that they do not want to do. because that's when resent comes in. That's when people do crazy stuff. So it's just like, if you're not feeling it, come in, feel it out, feel the vibe. Are you gonna work? If what I have to offer you, if you're willing to take that on, then come on, jump on board. But if you're not, then the door's, there's the door. So I asked her, she came in for a little bit and she was there a few days. And I said, hey, what's going on? Sent some messages and asked, is there anything I can help you do to grow? She said she was having trouble growing her clientele. And I was like, I'm getting walk-ins. I'm getting calls from Google. Yeah, it's easier to be in the establishment, building the business or building your business because you're now in the environment. We can create TikToks, we can do videos, we could do pictures, we could do marketing. So I don't know. She said it wasn't the time for her. She had another job. So I feel, I don't know.
She had not made the same decisions that you had made.
Yeah, she wasn't ready.
She just wasn't ready yet, which is a great shame because it wasted your time and it also wasted her time.
Yes.
But, okay, that's going to happen. So there are problems finding people, what is it, booth renters?
Booth renters, and then...
Do you ever employ directly?
Well, I had a girl come on and tell me, and this was a scary part for me because going into the business, I was like, okay, at some point, here comes IRS stuff, right? Taxes, W-2s. I know nothing about this. I learned a little bit in college about it, but actually taking that initial step and becoming legit, which I have to do because if I want to be measurable, if I want to franchise, if I want to grow, I have to take those scary... Those scary,
you do.
Okay, let's dive in. So she challenged me this past week and she goes, I want to come in, but I don't want to start at booth rent. I want to start at commission. And I had been, praying, asking God, the universe, like, hey, what's my next step? What is it going to be? And I knew I wanted to do commission. I was like, okay, let's get our feet wet with a 1099 employee, because I don't know about a W-2 yet. And so she's kind of on her own, but I don't pay her unless she makes money or we don't make money. And see how that goes on building.
So she is now there or going to be there as basically a contractor.
Yes, commission
contractor. So it doesn't matter what the word is, it's money.
Yes, money.
You pay her. End of story.
Yes. We get business, we may, like.
Yeah, which of course is very different from a full-time employee because then you have to worry about, the health care and the pension and the taxes and you have to worry about everything, which can be a nightmare, especially for a small business. Because ironically, the bigger the business gets, you then just farm that out to a third party that knows exactly what they're doing.
Hire the expert when it comes to that.
But the trouble is, when it's just you...
Can't hire the expert right now. Well, it's just me. I'm the expert, and I don't know what I'm doing.
Now, I must admit, when I drove down to you on Federal Boulevard, I was a bit surprised at the location. But, we were chatting before we started recording, and you said the location is great. What made that a great location? I
feel like because of, it's centrally located to I-70, you could get to downtown really easily. There's free parking. So,
at the back?
Yeah, there's free parking in the back. If you go down into the Highlands area, or deeper into the Highlands, there's not a lot of parking opportunities. Or if you're downtown, you have to pay for parking. So it'll take you longer to pay for parking and find parking in some of the downtown salons than it would be to just get to me and park for free. So the area is great. It's growing. So we're getting a lot of walk-bys.
Walk-ins. So the location really is working.
It is working.
I'm glad I was wrong. Because that's also, it's quite a large, it looked like it was a fairly large community there as well, with apartments and houses and stuff, all the way through that area.
Yes, and it's growing, and a lot of people are moving since everybody's moving to Colorado and moving into these areas. And the demographics are changing and the neighborhoods are changing, it's allowing more opportunities, and all these people are looking for new stylists. They're looking for places closer to home. So this is more the opportunity to, come and take over.
Nice. So let's go back to when you were building the business, or starting the business rather. What was the biggest roadblock that you ran into? There had to have been one thing that you just didn't know how to fix.
Okay, so to be funny with this one, because it was learning when not to say the F word, but it was finances. Funding. I feel like in the past I would have been equipped better to financially fund my business, and when I caught this business, I don't even have a bank account. So when this opportunity fell into my hands, I had $400 cash in my pocket, no bank account, and I was living in my car.
Okay, just a couple of things wrong here.
Yeah, like everything wrong. All the things wrong. And I had to say, like, is this really how every great story has to start? So funding was a huge thing, and it's kept me like, I can't look left, I can't look left, I can't look right, I can only look forward.
Yeah, you can only go straight.
So you're like, okay, blinders are on,
Right.
I can only do what I need to do to make sure that this business stays floating.
Absolutely.
So pouring everything that I need to into it. It's because you can't really waver. I can't go jump on a plane and run away and go to a beach and be like, okay, I'm going to forget this problem right now. So
That's right.
It's time to just build the dream.
That's right. I mean, you basically have taken on a 6 and 7 day work week.
Yes.
In one way or another.
Yes, I definitely have.
Because even on Sunday, there's going to be stuff to do.
Yeah. And getting people to understand that, like, it's 11 p.m. and you're like, oh shoot, did I finish this on the app? Is the website speaking the same language? Oh, wait a minute. Oh shoot, my windshield just got chipped. Okay, I have insurance, but I don't have time to call the insurance to replace the windshield. Yeah. So there's all these things that are happening all at once, and everybody, that's not invested into the business are like, okay, well, are you going to go to bed now? No.
It's surprising the number of people that seem to be under the impression that as soon as you become a business owner, it's easy street.
Or rich.
Or rich street.
Like, what?
And
I'm like, no.
So, the name, okay? 5280 Divine Beauty. Where did that come from?
So 5280 is the mile high, so I think that's...
I never made the correlation between 5280 and altitude. That's neat. That is really neat. Is there anything that you would like to express, because we sort of should start to think about wrapping the show up? Is there anything that you'd like to say to the people that are watching?
Well, there's definitely a lot of things that I had to overcome to get here. It didn't just happen overnight. So for me, I am working 6-7 days a week, but just kind of, there's a Bible verse that says, we will soar, or he will renew our strength, and we'll soar like on wings of eagles, stuff, something like that. I'm not a direct quoter, but my sobriety was a huge factor in starting this business, and I had to get my mental health under control. I had to get my sobriety under control, and I had to go through a lot of therapy to clear a lot of past traumas, PTSD, childhood trauma. I had to do a lot of things to overcome that, so that way when I got to this point, I was prepared for it. In the past, I wasn't ready. And when this opportunity presented itself, even though it seemed impossible, and it seemed like it looked like it was bad on paper, I knew that I had the strength, and I had the courage, and I had the wisdom and the perseverance, and I had the knowledge, and I had all the key ingredients that I had been collecting over the years. I just couldn't access. I had all the tools now ready, and I could access them. Yeah, that's it. You can do anything you set your mind to. Nothing's impossible.
It's been wonderful having you come into the studio, and I thank you so much for making the drive up from Denver to here. It's a bit of an annoying drive, but you made it, and that's the main thing. I hope everyone found the show interesting. I know it was fascinating sitting down and talking to Desirae about how she actually got this, and all because of a dream, and she made it come true. And I still can't believe the $400 and sleeping in the car, etc. Going, you know what, I'm going to start a business, because not many people have that guts, and Desirae does, which is absolutely amazing. Also, don't forget, at the top left here, you should see a subscribe button. Move the mouse over, it'll probably come alive. Subscribe to our channel. I'm Nigel, your host. We're here at the Captain's Lounge Studios. Thank you very much. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next show. Thank you.